Hey everyone, Rick from Rick's RC and More. Got the TF2 in front of me. So I ordered these off RC 4-wheel drive. I keep losing this one corner lens. Got to make sure I glue it in a little better. Of course, you got to buy the. It comes with 2 headlights on the other side. But I also picked up the reverse shackle kit. In order to be true to factory, the shackles here should actually be at the back. So I'm going to install that today. The instructions are actually online to do this. Disconnect the wire here. It says to remove the transmission, probably to get at these guys in there. We'll see. I had an issue. My the shaft going from the transmission to the transfer case here. Those Allen heads just didn't want to come out. I was worried about stripping them, so we'll have to see how that goes. I installed a different size pinion in it too. They say volt up, gear down. I'm running 3-cell on this, so I went down 1 tooth on the pinion. Try that out on the trails when I get a chance. But for now, let's dig in. Yeah, okay. So these Allen heads in here were really wanting to strip, so I had to kind of take everything out as one unit and just loosen up the front suspension, so I could basically pull everything out. Because you have to get at these guys in behind and remove these leaf spring hangers there. The instructions online show you to remove the servo, but you can get away without doing that, obviously. I'm just going to let everything hang. I'm just going to continue to take all the leaf spring stuff off here. Take off these front shackles. Oh, wrong size driver. This isn't difficult to do. The kit comes with everything you need. I'm not sure if there's going to be any performance gains. They do say that with this setup, when you're going into the rocks, it tends to push and clock your whatever wheels against the rock back. Whereas with the kit I'm installing, it'll eliminate that. Just don't want to lose anything here. Now we can get into here to remove those. Drivers are too long for that, so we need to go to an L key. You probably don't even really need the instructions to figure this out, but there are some bushings that come with the kit, so probably better to pull them up online. You just go to this particular product on RC 4-wheel drive, and you can just download the instructions. Keep all this stuff together. I'll probably chop this video up a little bit or whatever to make it so it's not real long and boring. So I'll remove some more stuff off camera and show you what all the kit comes with. Let's get into this kit. Here's the little sticker telling you where to go to find the instructions. So yeah, you get bushings, shackles, hardware, and then your front frame mounts for the reverse shackle. I'm going to continue on here. So it's worth noting that you do have to use some of the old hardware, like the shoulder bolts, according to the instructions. I probably should have, yeah, you got to put use these guys in the back there where you put your new shackles on. The kit just doesn't come with the shoulder bolts. It just comes with fully threaded ones for mounting the top part of the shackles, and that's where you use the bushings. Okay, so it's worth noting, you use there's these two smaller holes at the back, and we get you guys up closer. There's a hole there. You use this one, and that's a threaded hole, so that's why the bushings are on the one side, because you're going to tighten that right up, and the bushing's going to let this rotate like it should. So that's your smaller bushing on that side. And then you've got these larger bushings that go on the opposite side. And then your other new shackle, which is going to go up onto the other side of that bushing. And then your nut, which comes with the kit, a new one. If you have a little T-wrench, it fits those nuts to tighten them up. Snug that up, and those bushings allow both your shackles to rotate. Go ahead and do the other side. So the one side, the small bushing was really tight in the shackle, so I grabbed the other shackle, and it was a little more loose fitting. It was, when I tightened it up, it was kind of restricting it there. So just try other ones of these here and see if you can find one that's not so tight, which is what I did. Small parts, sometimes a little tricky to deal with. There was I think another company had made a kit, something like this, but I think you actually had to drill a hole. Maybe it depended on what version of the TF2 you have. This one already had the two pre-threaded holes there. So there we have our rear shackles in the back now. So now we have to get into installing these brackets. and the front of the chassis. So a little bit of a snag here. So with that in place, I don't know, you just barely, I guess you can get it in there with that in place. It was just, it seemed really tight, so I put the front bumper bracket back in there. Just in case I couldn't quite, yeah, see, then you're gonna have trouble getting on that nut. At first glance, it almost looked like you couldn't get that front bumper bracket, these countersunk little bolts in there with those brackets on there, but I guess there's just enough room to do it. When I first originally went to tighten that up, it just didn't seem like it was going to work out, but now it seems like it will. Yeah, you need to use 4 of your original shoulder bolts from your TF2 kit. They don't give you a set of those. All right, now we can get our little T-wrench in there and tighten these guys up. Yeah, there's a little bit of slop and play to them. Line it up with the chassis there. Tighten her up. The instructions online also tell you to remove your steering servo, but obviously, as you can see, I've gotten away without having to do that, so I would say don't worry about it. And here's where we're going to have to use some more of our original shoulder bolts. There we go. Hoping this doesn't stiffen the suspension up. It does feel like it might have stiffened the suspension up a little bit. I'm going to have to take the rear ones back out to get my transmission and everything in. I'm just kind of knocking it up here. I got the wrong nut driver. I was wondering why it was taking so long to thread that in. There's quite a bit of play in that. Those shoulder bolts are a little longer than they need to be, but that's all right. As long as it doesn't give us a whole bunch of bump steer or something. Oh, we'll get the transmission and everything back in. All right, so I think it did stiffen up the front suspension a little bit. As far as downfalls to this kit, you do now have these stick out quite far. You might have some issues of those getting hung up. Before you had your shackles here that were probably kind of back a little bit. I'd like to see how the body fits and see if it's in any way, shape, or form changed the position of the front axle. I would say, if anything, it did move the front axle maybe a little bit further forward. But when the suspension compresses, the tire goes into that wheel well just right. So, easy kit to install. I probably lost a little bit of articulation because it did stiffen that up a little bit. I could go with running one leaf, but I'm not going to do that. I find if you run one leaf in these, the leaves will actually kind of bend a little bit. Need to bring that front bumper out a little bit too as well. So yeah, just a little bit more of a scale setup, but you can see they do come down and out pretty far, which might hinder you on the trails and rocks. We'll just see. We'll see how that goes. You could probably, I wouldn't really want to round those off. You're going to take off material and give it some flex. We'll try it out. I don't know. Everything's snow here right now, so as far as getting out on actual rocks, it'll probably be a spring thing. So you have the, you're gonna have parts left over. Of course, the old shackles and 2 shoulder bolts there, and then your mounts there for the rear that mount into the chassis. So you can throw them in your parts bin, and these shackles here, I believe, are the same length. Well, maybe they're a little longer. But spare parts is always good. So that's going to be the end of this video. I'm not going to do a video of me just replacing that little corner light. That's no big deal. But yeah, if I think what I paid for that kit, I think it was around it was like $20 American, $20.99 I think. So converted to Canadian, my shipping, to have that kit and these were like dirt cheap, but to have it shipped to me, because I think the only way I could really find these was the RC 4-wheel drive website. It was almost 50 bucks, but makes the truck a little more scale. So easy to install kit. Everything went together good. Like I said, the only thing hindering is going to be, I don't know if I can, down the road when I have time, maybe make a different front bumper or something that comes down. So that'll go up and over rocks. We'll just have to see when we get it out on the trails. But for now, everybody, get out and enjoy your RCs.